I am going to teach you a chess rule, and if you follow this rule, you are going to win more games. And I will demonstrate this here by playing against a 2200 rated opponent. So you can use this rule with white, you can use this rule with black, and it also doesn't matter which opening is played. You can always use this rule. But before we use this rule, we need to castle. That's just the starting point. So we need to castle. We cannot castle here, of course. We need to prepare castling as quickly as possible, which is why I always choose to play very simple openings. A pawn in the center, let's protect it with a different pawn. Let's develop a knight, so also protect it. Okay, if they take, we can take back. And if they try to pin or knight, we can play bishop to e7, which unpins the knight, and now we can castle. So that is very simple what we want to do at the start of every game. And now we are going to start to use this rule. And this rule will help you to find a good move whenever it is your turn. So the rule is called CCTO, and this is the order in which we need to look at different possible moves to decide which one are we going to play. So the first C is for checks. Do we have a check? No. The second C is a capture. Do we have a capture? No. Then we have the T for threat. Do we have a threat? And a threat is when you attack a higher value piece with a lower value piece, or when you set up a checkmate, or when you set up a fork, something like that. So here, yes, we have H6, which attacks a high value piece, a bishop, with a low value piece, a pawn. So that is a good move for the CCTO. And okay, they capture, so we are going to capture back. And I do this every single time I have to make a move. So do we have a capture? Yes. Wow. So do we have a check? No. Do we have a capture? Yes. We would be blundering a bishop, but we have a capture. Do we have a threat? I think there is no threat here. There are not really any pieces that we can easily attack. And I do this every single time I have to make a move. So, do we have a check? No. Do we have a capture? Yes. We have a useless capture. We could blunder a bishop. Do we have a threat? No. And now we come to a very important and also the most difficult step to master. Optimize. And optimizing will show you the difference in playing strength between a 1000 and a 2000 rated player, because different strengths of players will think about different types of moves when they are told to optimize the position. But I will teach you what I would recommend you to think about for optimizing. So to me, optimizing means a couple of things. First of all, optimizing, of course, means getting pieces into the game, especially the pieces which are still on the back rank. Optimizing, to me, also means using the E, D, and C pawn, especially these in the center. These are incredibly important. So the moves that I am thinking about here, there are a bunch of moves. Rook E8, Knight C6, maybe something with the bishop, bishop E6, bishop D7, maybe pawn C6, maybe pawn C5, although that's a sacrifice, it might actually be a good move here as well. So those are the types of moves that I am thinking about for the O. What I'm going to do is a very simple move, C6. I protect my central pawn. Very simple. They castle. And now you might already be thinking, like, when are you going to attack your opponent? When are you going to try to force a win? And the answer to that question is never. I'm not going to. I am just going to do CCTO every single move. And we are basically waiting for the opponent to make a mistake. When they do make a mistake, CCT will help us to solve the puzzle, to solve the position, and find how to win the piece or how to checkmate. And as long as they don't make mistakes, we just optimize. We wait for them to make a mistake. And if they don't make a single mistake the entire game, that's fine. I'm fine with the draw then. I mean, we are playing against a very strong opponent if that happens. So what do we do here? A bunch of moves. There is no CCT, so I will optimize. Let's get the knight into the game. Okay, they push a4, and I have this general rule that if they push the a4 pawn, usually the best thing you can do is counter and also push your pawn, because we don't really want to allow them to expand and keep pushing pawns. Okay, they play e4, so we have a capture, so we need to look at the capture. If we capture, we would be getting one of their pieces to that square, but I think this is actually the first mistake that they played. CCT checks, no. Captures, yes. Well, we have this capture still, and we have this. But if I play this capture, no matter what they do, they have a problem. they have this, an isolated D pawn, an isolated queen's pawn, this is also called. And isolated means this is a pawn that's no longer protected by any other pawns. So that's an endgame weakness. It is something that we can pile up the pressure, we can keep attacking it, and we might be able to win it. And I know this because I have studied pawn structures. Lower rated players, maybe you won't see this, but that's why I'm trying to teach you this. And also, if you want to learn how to play better chess strategically and positionally, you should definitely go to pegasuschess.com, where I have free courses which teach you all of this as well. So I am going to, for sure, capture this. So I am isolating that pawn. That is the plan. Okay. They attack the bishop, but it's protected twice, so we don't have anything to worry about. So checks, no. Captures, yes, we can blunder a bishop. Threats, no. Optimize. Okay, optimize. I'm just going to get the rook into the game. Queen c1 is a bit of a strange move. I don't know what's going on, but I don't think anything is going on. So again, check, no. Capture, well, doesn't work. No threats, optimize. Let's get the knight to a better square in the center. Okay, queen c5. I honestly didn't really expect them to do this. They are attacking two things, but both of those are protected, so I don't really see what is going on there. So yeah, probably no CCT. We could say T for threat, attack the queen. Yeah, we could attack the queen, but it's a bit of a one-move threat. They are probably just going to just move the queen anyway. So that's why I chose to optimize, and I'm going to recapture here. Okay, so I think it's really going great. We are slowly improving the position. Material is still equal, but we still have this. We still have this. What would be the most terrible move we could possibly play here, which I am pretty sure so many players would play? That would be knight takes knight. Knight takes knight. And now you might be saying, wait, this is a capture, right? So we should play it. No, no, no. We look at every check. We look at every capture, we look at every threat, but it's not because they exist that you need to play them. For example, I didn't attack the queen. It was a one-move threat that I didn't see any purpose with. I would never trade because look, we just connected these pawns. This is no longer an isolated D pawn. That would be a very, very big strategic or positional chess mistake here by fixing that and then helping them to improve the center. So no, we don't want to play that. Also, we don't want them to take, because then we also end up with an isolated pawn. That would also be terrible. So we cannot take, and we don't want them to take. So we either need to protect the knight or we need to move the knight. And I will choose to move the knight because I see we have a simple square and it's also a threat. It was a one-move threat to potentially win a bishop. Okay. And they go here. That's attacked by the rook, but it's also guarded by the knight. So no checks. Well, whoa, whoa, whoa. We have a check. We have two checks. Wait a minute. We have two checks. Both of them blunder a knight, but we have checks. We have captures. Threats. Yeah, we have a threat. We can play knight here. And this time I actually like the move because we don't just attack the queen. Let's go back a little bit. Let's say the queen moves. We also attack the pawn. So you can see this isolated pawn is starting to become a problem for them. But they play queen here to e5. Okay. So yeah, we need to do CCT. It's always the same. CCT, CCT. You will hear me saying this forever. I will always do CCT. We have a capture. And it looks like it's an equal capture. And in general, you also don't want to do this because you are bringing this pawn closer to another pawn. So yeah, you might be fixing the weakness. But I think here, if we then move the knight, I mean, there is something here for sure. We are attacking that. We are attacking the bishop. Maybe they can play f4 and they can temporarily stop it. But I feel like that white position is almost falling apart. Like there should be something there. In any case, we could win a bishop for a knight, which is good. We could try to play from there. So I think that would actually be very interesting. I could also move the queen again, but we can also just keep moving around for eternity and never do something, which is not the plan. So I like this. I don't know if there is a better move except knight c5. I don't know if there's a better move except knight c5. Maybe knight f4, I think, could also be a move. We are doing this. Yeah, maybe knight f4 is actually a move. We are also attacking that. The only thing I am then thinking about is what if they try to go for this? Because yeah, if we take, we are getting back rank mated by a rook. So yeah, maybe that's not better. Let's just go with the initial plan, which was knight c5. Okay, and you can see I realized this beforehand that I would be fixing their weakness. I would be fixing their isolated pawn, but I did it because I feel like positionally here we are still better. I could take this, but it's just a trade in the end. I could play f6 to try to win the pawn, but I'm also opening up a lot of squares for my opponent, which I don't like. So we need to think, we need to look at the position. What weaknesses does white have? And a weakness is something that is not protected, or something that is protected and attacked the same number of times. So this is a weakness, very clearly. It's just completely hanging. This is a weakness because it's protected and attacked once, which means if we add an attacker, we could possibly win it. This is a weakness. It's attacked and it's protected the same number of times. Okay. And I'm just going to pause here. What could we do if we could make any move, if every piece could jump to whatever square on the chessboard? If they were all the best pieces possible and we could just pick up a piece and place it somewhere, where could we place a piece so that it attacks this, this, and this at the same time? So that we do this, this, and this. Well, I think I just spoiled it. We need to get a rook to the blue square. If we can achieve a rook to the blue square, we would be guaranteed to win material. What's the fastest way? It's this very funny move. Rook a6, and then rook b6. And we are trying to get the rook to that square. So that is the strategy. My opponent, of course, very strong player, very strong 2200. They see what is coming, but I am just trying to do the strategy where we go rook to b4. So this is how I also visualize tactics. We look at weaknesses, just like I showed you, and then we try to force a way to get there. My opponent defended really well, because now this is attacked twice, and it's protected twice. This is attacked once, it's protected once. This is attacked once, and it's also protected once. So that's okay. So, okay, we improved the position. This rook jumped from here to the blue square, but yeah, it's a slight improvement. And many of my opponent's pieces are now tied up in defense, which is what we wanted. So we need to find another move, always CCT, but there is not much to do with CCT. So O, optimize. We still had a piece that was doing nothing, so let's just get it into the game. Okay, and they play pawn to G3. Let's look at this a little bit again. So what weaknesses do they have? This is a weakness. It's attacked twice and it's protected twice. This is a weakness. It's attacked once and protected once. So if I could do something that attacks both of those at the same time, we could potentially win. Is there a piece that can do that? The answer is no. The only thing that, well, yes, if we had a queen, we could put it there, but there's no other piece here, so that doesn't really work. So there's no way for us to win immediately, which means we are just going to have to try to further improve our position. F5, it's fine. They attack the bishop. We got to move. I don't want to be passive and go back here. I don't want to block my rook. So I will go to C4 because here the bishop is a little bit better placed. Okay. So I'm always doing the same. CCT, we have a check, but we would be blocking in our rook. So, and also they could always take with the bishop, with the knight. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing again that we just did. Let's identify weaknesses. And I actually see one right here. This is a weakness that's just not protected at all. So yeah, if I just attack it, we might be able to win that. That's the strategy. They push f6, which seems, ooh, scary, like the pawn is getting closer. No, no, no. We just take this. It's just a free pawn. And if they take that, we just take that with the king. And finally, it took so long, but we finally have extra material. We are just up a pawn, if I am correct. Yes, we are just up a pawn. This is what we wanted. Our opponent finally cracked. They finally made a mistake. So we are going to continue doing CCTO, but we will give a bigger priority to trading because as soon as we are up material, we do want to trade. So that is what I am looking for. So which pieces could I trade? The best ones are those that are unprotected. That would be a good strategy. We can also just play bishop here, which pins the rook to the king. They can trade to solve it. and then we take. I think that's fine. If that is your strategy, you can go there, you can play that. I'm also looking if I can do something with the knight, maybe get the knight to a better square via knight d7 and then maneuver a little bit. But I also don't see that much that we can do. I'm looking if we can get the bishop to a better square potentially. Maybe go here and then move. We could do that, but I don't see much. So yeah, I think I will actually go for this after all. It's just a simple pin and we can trade. Now we have a very important question. Do we want to take with the rook or do we want to take with the pawn? Well, taking with the pawn gives us an isolated pawn. And this is something very important. In chess, you always need to count the amount of pawn islands that you have. And a pawn island is this. It's a pawn that's all by itself. So we have one island, the red island. We have a blue island. And right now we also have a orange island. These three are working together. But the moment that I take, I will be having 4 islands. I would need to add a different color there. And the more islands that you have, the worse it gets. My opponent just has a red island here, and then this is what I consider a blue island. These are also working together. So I will take with the rook, and I hope you can now follow the strategy for your games as well, that you need to count the amount of pawn islands. Okay. They are trying to be tricky. They are trying to win a pawn. Okay. CCT checks. Yes, we have a check. And it's a check that might potentially win a bishop, depending on the move they choose. They choose to just block, which is fine. We are going to play this. And that move is a double C, check and capture. Double C is usually the best move in the position. Black to play. What can we do? Well, CCT, check, capture. Yes, capture. We captured that pawn. And now we are up 2 pawns, plus we still have the 3 pawn island, so that is actually very good. This really shows how I think during a game, so I hope you can start using this as well. And then the moment that you are up 2 pawns, or when you are up a piece, we have to completely switch strategy. It's endgame time. So every trade is super important here. Plus, we want to create what is known as a passed pawn. That is a pawn that can promote. So I play this because now we have these 2 pawns, and actually both of them can promote. And passed pawns are incredibly powerful because with every single move that you push them, let's actually play this, check and capture at the same time. With every single time that you push them, yeah, you get closer to a winning game. We just push them. You just keep pushing them. And the opponent has to do everything that they can to try to stop them. And we just keep pushing them. And that is the strategy. And we are going to make a queen. And the closer that we get to the back rank, the more pushing the pawns becomes the best move. And often there is even a tactic there. Like here, you could save the knight. Sure, you can save the knight. You can push the pawn. You can push the pawn because the king can actually not take your knight. If they take your knight, you go a2. If they move the bishop, we promote. If they take, the king is too slow, we have a queen. So the closer that we get to promotion, the more tactics that we have available. The funny thing is that a2 actually works here as well. It works because we win a bishop in exchange for the 2 pawns. And yes, we lost our queen. Well, I'm not going to make, well, I'm going to make a queen just for fun. Let's make a queen. But we still have an extra knight. And as long as we have an extra knight here, we are still going to win the game because we are still up material. All we need to do is we need to coordinate the king and the knight. We need to start attacking these pawns. We need to create a weakness and we need to see if we can pick up some pawns. So I pick up pawn number 1. I'm looking to pick up pawn number 2, but I will actually give this in between check here, and I will pick it up with the knight so that I don't need to lose that pawn. Okay, and now we are up 5 points of material, which should be incredibly easy. You can literally do this, 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 and we are just going to promote. The reason I didn't do it all the way was because I already calculated they might be going there, and then I would have just blundered the pawn. I was smart enough to see that. But they played a move here. We just need to watch out. Can I actually make a queen? Because if I make a queen, look, why to move? The king is stuck. So the reason that they didn't go for this is because they are being tricky. They are trying to stalemate us. So very important that I didn't pre-move that. So now you might be thinking, well, what do I do then? Well, let's just make a rook. If we make a rook, they still have a square. They still have this square. And now we just have an extra rook. There are many different ways how you can checkmate here. king and rook is already a checkmate. If you think, I really don't know what to do here, I mean, just go and make a queen. It's probably what I will do as well. I will just make a queen here. I think it's just the simplest thing that we can do. Let's cut off this, and then we can promote and we can make a queen. And this is going to be a very, very basic checkmate. I hope all of you know this. It's the ladder checkmate. We keep moving the pieces file by file, and then eventually we are going to checkmate them by playing rook to a2. Rook to a2 is a checkmate. So please try out this chess rule and let me know how it went.